You ever see someone at work who is just undeniably brilliant? I mean, raw, off-the-charts talent, and yet somehow they get sidelined or just quietly overlooked? It's this frustrating puzzle you see play out all the time, and it makes you ask a pretty fundamental question.
It's one of those things that just doesn't make sense on the surface, right? You see the amazing work, but you don't see the amazing rewards that should go with it. Well, today, we're going to unpack one of the most powerful and maybe one of the most misunderstood answers to that exact question.
So, this is law number 1 from Robert Greene's famous book. And I know what you're thinking. It sounds kind of cynical, doesn't it? A little devious even. But what if it isn't a manual for being manipulative? What if it's actually a map of human psychology? Okay, let's dive into a story that shows you exactly what this law looks like in the real world.
Our story kicks off back in 2019, inside a fictional tech company we'll call Nexon Technologies. And really, it's a story about a brilliant young analyst, his very seasoned manager, and the collision course they were on from day one.
So let's meet the two key players here. On one side, you've got Arjun Mehta. He's young, absolutely bursting with talent, a wizard with data, who truly believed that his work would just speak for itself. And on the other side, Vikram Sood. He's a company vet, politically sharp, and he understood a fundamental truth. In the corporate world, perception is often reality. They were playing with two totally different rulebooks.
So just 3 months into the job, Arjun gets a routine assignment, but he goes deeper, way deeper, and he uncovers this number, a 4.7 crore rupee revenue leak that nobody else could see. Now, this wasn't just good work. This was a straight-up game changer.
And this was his manager Vikram's reply. That's it, 5 words in an email. No exclamation points, no, hey, let's talk about this. Just a quiet, clean, I'll take it from here. For Arjun, this probably seemed totally normal. But this was the first move on the chessboard.
So the big moment comes during the quarterly review with the VP, Priya Sagal. She's blown away by the model, praises the discovery, and when she does, Vikram doesn't say Arjun's name. He just says, my team. And when she presses for details, he implies the core idea was his. He makes Arjun's genius sound like simple grunt work. The light was being dimmed, and Arjun didn't even notice the room getting darker.
What happens next isn't some dramatic firing or a big public fight. No, it's something way quieter and honestly a lot more common. Arjun's brilliance, instead of lighting up the company, started to cast a shadow that his manager found really, really threatening.
And just look at how systematic this was. Over the next 6 months, Arjun was just slowly erased. It started small. You're not needed in this meeting. Then his ideas started getting shut down with vague feedback like, this isn't quite right. And before he knew it, his best projects were being handed off to other people. It was a masterclass in making someone invisible.
And what did Arjun do? Well, what most of us would do when we feel overlooked. He doubled down. He decided to build something so unbelievably brilliant that it would be impossible to ignore. He thought more talent was the answer. But in this particular game, it was the worst possible strategy.
And this was his new creation, a real-time customer health tool, an incredible piece of tech that could predict with 81% accuracy which clients were about to cancel their contracts. I mean, this wasn't an improvement, it was a revolution for the business. This is the kind of thing that gets you noticed, gets you promoted.
And that was Vikram's feedback. He looked at a tool that could save the company millions, and he dismissed it in a single sentence. The whole meeting lasted 11 minutes. You see, Vikram didn't see an asset for the company. He saw a 26-year-old who was making him look obsolete. He saw a threat. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Because while Arjun was hitting a brick wall, someone else at Nexon was watching, learning, and playing a completely different game. Someone who got that the most important rules are never written down.
Let me introduce you to Neha Kapoor. Now, Neha was every bit as talented as Arjun, but she operated on a whole different level. While Arjun was focused on pure, raw brilliance, Neha was all about applied brilliance. See the difference? He wanted to be impossible to overlook. She made herself impossible to threaten. She understood that while talent is a currency, power is the one that really calls the shots. So how did she do it? Well, it was subtle and it was genius. She'd present her incredible ideas as if they were just building on something Vikram had casually mentioned once.
She'd ask for his opinion on stuff she had basically already finished, just to make him feel included, feel important. She'd even give him credit in meetings for insights he never had. She made her success feel like his success. She wasn't shrinking, she was building armor for her talent.
And the results? They speak for themselves. In less than 2 years, Neha became the indispensable go-to analyst that all the senior leaders relied on. Meanwhile, Arjun, who was arguably the most technically gifted of them all, was still just a ghost. His brilliant work just kept getting absorbed into his manager's PowerPoint decks, completely without a trace.
So here it is, the final scorecard. Arjun, the brightest light in the room, was quietly erased. He left the company in 2021. Neha, the quiet strategist, she thrived. She became essential. And Vikram, the master, well, he remained exactly where he wanted to be, secure and in control. The system didn't reward the best talent. It rewarded the best navigator of the system.
A former colleague once said this about Arjun, and man, it just perfectly captures the tragedy of the whole thing. His technical skill was world-class, but his political skill was non-existent. And from the company's point of view, they couldn't tell the difference. They only saw the result.
So this brings us all the way back to law number 1. And the most important thing to get is that it's not telling you to play dumb or hide your gifts. It's handing you a map to human nature. It's explaining that people in power, just like the rest of us, are driven by deep insecurities. Vikram wasn't some evil villain. He was just the guy who was terrified of being overshadowed.
And this right here, this is the most empowering part of all. The law isn't a command to make yourself smaller. It's an invitation to be more strategic, to become an architect, someone who doesn't just build brilliant things, but who also designs the entire structure around them so that brilliance can actually be seen and accepted and celebrated on your own terms.
This whole story, really, it just boils down to one simple question for you to think about. When you walk into work tomorrow, when you're about to present your next big idea, what is your actual goal? Is it to shine so brightly that you're the only thing people can see? Because there is a huge difference. One of those strategies makes you a target. The other one makes you an ally. One leads to being overlooked, and the other leads to becoming indispensable. And choosing which one you're